Today we'll learn about interval notation. So an interval notation is a notation that shows a solution as a range of values. And in an interval AB, we use a left and a right parenthesis to indicate that a value is not included, and a left and a right bracket to indicate that a corresponding value is included. So let's express the following inequalities using the interval notation. X is greater than minus 2. So this inequality is satisfied for all real numbers greater than minus 2 and excluding minus 2, since minus 2 is not greater than minus 2. So the lower bound is minus 2, and all real numbers greater than minus 2 satisfy this inequality. So for the larger number we can use infinity, and since minus 2 is not a solution, we use a left parenthesis, and since we never reach infinity, we also use a right parenthesis. So what about minus 5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to root 3? Well, both minus 5 and root 3 are solution of this inequality. So we can use a left bracket for minus 5 and a right bracket for root 3. So what about minus square root of 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal less than pi? Well, minus root 2 is a solution, but pi is not a solution, so we'll use a left bracket for minus root 2, a right parenthesis for pi. So what about x is less than or equal to e? So this inequality is satisfied for all real numbers less than or equal to e. So for the larger number, it's e, and for the smaller number, we'll use a minus infinity. And since we do not reach minus infinity, we use a left parenthesis. So what about x is less than minus 22 over 7, or x is greater than or equal to 4? So the solutions to both inequalities are subsets of real number, so let's think of them as sets. So what is the set which is A or B? So the set A or B is the set containing elements in A or in B or in A intersection B. So it is the set which is the union of the two sets. So if we write each set as an interval, we can take the union of the two sets. So for the first one, the larger number is minus 22 over 7, and the smaller value is minus infinity. And since we never reach minus infinity, we'll use left parenthesis. And since minus 22 over 7 is not a solution, we use a right parenthesis. And we take the union of this set with the set where 4 is included, because 4 is a solution to the inequality x is greater than or equal to 4. And all real numbers greater than 4 satisfy this inequality, so we'll use infinity and a right parenthesis. So what about the inequality x is greater than 2 and x is less than or equal to 5? So this is set A and set B, and the set which contains elements in both sets A and B is the set A intersection B. So first we find the intervals, and there we take the intersection. So for the first one, the smaller value is 2 and the larger value is infinity, and since 2 is not a solution, we use a left parenthesis. And for infinity and minus infinity, we always use a parenthesis, and we take the intersection of this set with the set from minus infinity to 5, and 5 satisfies this inequality because 5 is less than or equal to 5, so we use a right bracket. And this is also equal to the interval from 2 to 5, which doesn't include 2 but includes 5. So let's graph these intervals on the number line, and we use the same notation. So what about the inequality minus 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3? So as a reminder, this both minus 2 and 3 are a solution to this inequality, and we use a left bracket and a right bracket. So on the number line, we use the same notation. We draw a left bracket on minus 2 and the right bracket on 3, and we shade the region in between. What about x less than or equal to 2? So the larger value is 2, and all real numbers less than or equal to 2 satisfy this inequality, so we'll use minus infinity. And on the number line, we'll use a right bracket on 2, and we shade the region on the number line to the left of 2. What about x less than or equal to 0, or x is greater than 2? So this is the union of two sets, where the first one is the set from minus infinity to 0, and since 0 is the solution to this inequality, we use the right bracket. And the second set is the set from 2 to infinity, but 2 is not a solution to this inequality, so we use left parenthesis. And on the number line, we use a right bracket on 0 and a left parenthesis on 2. And since the first set is the set of real numbers less than or equal to 0, so we shade the region to the left of 0. And the second set is all real numbers greater than 2, so we shade the region to the right of 2. And finally, x greater than minus 1 and x less than or equal to 1. So we saw that this is the intersection of two sets, where the first set is from minus 1 to infinity, but minus 1 doesn't satisfy this inequality, so we'll use left parenthesis. And for the second set, it's the set of real numbers less than or equal to 1, so that is from minus infinity to 1, but 1 satisfies this inequality, so we'll use a right bracket. And this is also equal to the interval from minus 1 to 1, where we use a left parenthesis to indicate that minus 1 is not a solution, and a right bracket to indicate that 1 satisfies the inequality. And to graph that, we use a left parenthesis on minus 1 and a right bracket on 1, and we shade the region in between. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.